You can't just be somebody that doesn't know about programming and say like, okay, I'm going to build an app now because ChatGPT is going to write me all the
I don't know if the analogy makes sense to you, but I think of it as it's a very bright, ingenious child, but you cannot leave it unattended.
Hello, ChatGPT.
Hi there. How's it going?
We are filming a podcast. Can we have you as a guest inside?
That sounds like fun.
Tell me if I'm dressed correctly for the podcast. What do you think?
You look good. They look great as well. You're both set for a fantastic podcast.
I'm only one.
Good luck.
This is our pilot episode, the first episode on Starttech.
That's a lie.
It is the first episode, but
It's not the first pilot.
Our second try on it, I guess.
Our second take.
That's why we have pilots.
Yeah, you had a few technical issues. And
Technical issues, that's on me.
Yes, obviously. And there was no workable solution. So
Yeah,
we
hopefully
had to
this
redo
one.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
One
but
thing
now,
we missed from the first pilot is we never introduced ourselves.
yeah, we didn't.
And now I have some props, so I can look more like a pro. No notes.
professional.
They're just empty, but you know, looks better.
The thing is that, okay, I'm Thanos.
I'm Aristeidis
We are here in Starttech. I am with a coffee, you are with a
with a whiskey.
whiskey. I thought you were going to say the brand specific one or something.
You're probably gonna realize that it says one thing here, but the color doesn't match
Okay.
what the
Sure,
brand that's mentioned on the glass.
Hints
Yeah,
everywhere.
color is too light to actually be the.
So it's a better one or a worse one? That's
Sorry?
the question. It's a better one or
It's
a
a
worse
different one. It's a different type of drink.
Ah, okay.
It's not a bourbon. It's a single malt.
Let's say first, what is Starttech for people that are not familiar?
Well, Starttech basically operates in the startup ecosystem.
Yeah.
And it has two main functions. One is as a venture studio. So to give a very brief description of what that is, for people who don't know, we collaborate with prospective co-founders and we decide on an idea and create that into a project and then into a profitable company. Starttech basically is a co-founder of these companies, and apart from funding, we also provide a team
Specialists?
Yes, so specialists that do a lot of things for the company, apart from the building of the product, sales and support. So we do the marketing, we do web development, web design, social media, communication. We are responsible for legal and financial services and so on and so forth, front desk, and whatever the company might need until they get big enough and profitable enough to actually graduate from Starttech.
Yeah.
And our other function is as an early stage investor.
Yeah, true. But usually we do both investing and co-founding.
Yeah, we do both. Oh, one thing that I need to mention is that we specialize in B2B tech startups. That tech or software is the core of the business.
Yeah.
So it's the software as a service, B2B companies almost exclusively.
Yeah, we specialize there and this is what we know. So
Yes, that's what we know. We like to stick with what we know.
So if somebody is now creating a new startup and has ideas and maybe has a small team, very small, they can go to our website and we'll have forms there.
Yes.
They can click on the front page call to action button. They can fill it up, we read it, and we communicate back to them
Yes.
for a meeting. And
More or less like any application
so we'll
process,
have the
any
link
other
down
application
below.
process.
We'll have the link down below. If you're in this situation, you can contact us. I'm kind of new to the company. I'm like 6 months, a little bit more, 7, 8 months around there.
I think more than that, you know.
It feels more actually. But I think I came in the summer, so late summer. I think I am about 8 months here. And you are way more I don't want to say older.
You just did though.
Way more seasoned in the company and in the position as well. I'm mainly in design, web and graphic design, creating websites, logos, and stuff like that. You are like the boss of my boss in the hierarchy, so you are in a high position.
Yeah, we don't like the.
Yeah, people can see that.
Yeah, we don't have like a pyramid structure, hierarchical pyramid structure.
I'm trying to build you up.
Well, thank you. Your performance review is up soon, and you try to suck up to me or something. Okay.
But yeah, people can see that we are like friends, I guess. And
we like to think we have a very informal, atmosphere in,
true.
in the office.
True. What you do mainly in the company, like?
Well, the title is, I suppose, marketing director or something like that.
Okay.
We also are not very good with titles either. So.
Okay.
But we're basically a small team trying to help more companies than we can handle sometimes for a team of our size. So yes, everyone has a specialization, but we are all in a sense generalists. We do more than what our title might suggest as specialization.
That's true.
Which is a kind of, the fun part as well, because you get to involve yourself in activities otherwise you wouldn't.
Yeah, and I think to give up...
And a lot of people get to chime up or contribute in different areas as well. Designers get to have ideas for marketing or for the product.
Yeah, and the other way around. A lot of times in meetings and brainstorming, you helped me a lot with ideas in design, and I implied them.
And you always have ideas and suggestions.
That's a subject for another podcast.
Yes.
Learn when to stop talking and when to...
Yes.
Yeah, I think to give a clear idea, it's like Starttech has a group of specialists, and at the same, we have open space that our startups come and work as well. So we have on the same space another 5, 6, or 7 teams of smaller startups.
It's not only the smaller startups, and that's I think the biggest benefit of all.
Where I was going.
Is yes, we have the first floor, which is basically the Starttech floor. Let's call it that, where it's our team and also the growing or the newly planted seeds.
True.
Okay, let's call it like, let's use that analogy. And then we have on the second floor, we have more mature companies. On the third and fourth, we have even bigger ones.
Yes, I want to mention.
It's basically you have in a building the analogy of a growth of a tree or a plant. And the big benefit for the younger ones is they basically sit no more than a few desks away from someone that's gone through their stage.
The same struggles, same, and who made it actually.
So company,
a lot of experience.
Startup A is at the very early stage, but at the desk next to them is company B, which has just gone through that stage. And it's very easy for to ask for advice, or how did you manage that? How did you find a solution for this problem that I'm having now? And in most cases, someone's going to be in the building that has gone through that journey. And even if it doesn't have an advice to give you, it knows where to direct you to find the solution.
Yeah, true.
And it's also an inspiration to see that, these people started like us, but now they are here.
Yeah.
And this is probably something I can do as well. So
true. I would like to say about Yodek, for instance, because Yodek started as a team of 3 people, right? 2 in the beginning, 3 later on.
Yes, when I came, there was only 4. So when I first met Yodek, it was 4 people. 4
people company. And now they have more than 100.
Yes.
And the people, they are thinking even to move to a bigger space, right?
We don't have enough office space to accommodate for all of them at once.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So that's a great inspiration. And other than Yodec, we have also Epignosis that has 2 whole floors, like 4th and 5th.
And
right?
again, it's not enough for them now.
Yeah. So we have a lot of success stories, and we have more companies that already graduated and they are their own entities now.
Yeah, and there are success stories that you can actually, touch literally.
Right.
Yes.
We're in the same space, in the same building.
It's not something that you advertise and you're never going to see it. There are the people right here. And
that's very important.
We have events together, so...
True. We blend, we mix and match all the time. Yeah. Awesome. I think we gave a very clear idea this time.
Hopefully. Links below and so on and so forth to learn more.
Today's theme of the podcast is AI, right? We're going to talk about AI.
Are you asking?
If you agree, of course, I'm not going to force you. If you want to talk about something else.
That was the original idea, or the inspiration, or the focus for this discussion.
Because it's a very hot topic. Like it's been for a couple of years, actually. But now I feel like ChatGPT finally has a lot of competitors that do equal job or better or cheaper or more expensive depending the target audience and blah, blah, blah.
I wouldn't say that they are competitors exactly.
Okay.
I mean, there are a lot of AI-focused products out there now, far more than there were a few years ago. And a lot of them have found their own niche.
True.
So they are, have their own offering or specialization. A lot of them are based on other LLMs or OpenAI. So I think we're in a stage where the AI business sector is moving towards a maturity. Maybe we are still in the early years. We are in the early years, but it's maturing year by year, if not month by month.
Yeah, true.
We've probably gone through something similar with blockchain a few years ago. Right. And I want to say similar in a sense that it was a buzzword everywhere. You were a startup, want to impress investors or stakeholders. You went to a presentation, all right, what are you going to do for the next 6 months or quarter or whatever. And you throw, blockchain. And everyone go, yeah, that's great. You have your approval for the next.
Let's wait a bit for them to pass away.
Yeah, with the center of Athens, so...
You get the benefits, you get the flaws.
Yes, right? Exactly. AI is kind of similar in that it's also a buzzword that it's been thrown around very often and very loosely sometimes, yes. But I think it has proven to be... It has changed a lot of processes.
I think the word artificial intelligence on its own is too heavy for what we have now as AI, like for ChatGPT and all this stuff.
I think the common person on the street, when they hear artificial intelligence, they go to some kind of dystopian future where machines take over or something like that. I think we're in a stage where it is starting to demonstrate, if not prove, that it can be a force multiplier for productivity.
Yeah.
And the thing is that force multiplier, you multiply your input and you produce, a greater output. The quality of the multiplication and the input is going to affect the output, because for everyone that has used AI tools, whether it's ChatGPT or something else, sooner than later you realize that what came out is not of the best quality, or it's lacking in many different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, to give you and it seems to be bad at some things that
you don't expect it to be bad.
You expect it to be good at, doing simple maths. And it seems to be exceptionally bad at it. Only a few days ago, I was doing some projections for a budget, for marketing spending. Ask it to do a series of calculations if we increase the annual budget by 20%. And instead of doing a 10% and 20% increase, so going for, let's use round numbers, 1,000 to 1,200, it stated that it's 20% increase, but what it used was 20% difference was how smaller was the older budget compared to the new, not how bigger the new one is compared to the old.
You went the other way around.
Yes. And that's a completely different number. And if you are not, very good at with numbers, or
if you trust
you
it
don't
blindly.
pay too much attention to those,
exactly.
the numbers these days. I told you 12%. Obviously, he understands that. Straightforward maths. You can put that into your projections or into your budget, and at the end of the day, when people at the accountants start looking at your spending, and you said 20%, this is off. AI does some remarkable things. It gives you an output after feeding the prompt, and you are amazed at the result. Wow, I would have spent days, if not more, trying to work that out or to create that kind of result. And then at other times you go, I cannot believe that it produced that. I don't know how even to fix that or to correct in my prompt in order to understand what I'm saying. So you get very high highs, but very bad lows.
Yeah. And also you have to, whatever it fits you, depending, of course, the gravity of your project. Like the one you said earlier, it has huge gravity because it's about budget, money, other people's
and people
money.
tend to be sensitive about those kind of things, rightly so.
If you use it to write a blog, it's not the same gravity, that's what I mean. But everything it gives you back, you have to put it under the microscope, kinda, especially if it's coding involved.
Yes.
And all this stuff. Like, you can't just be somebody that doesn't know about programming and say like, okay, I'm gonna build an app now because ChatGPT is gonna write me all the
I don't know if the analogy makes sense to you, but I think of it as it's a very bright, ingenious child, but you cannot leave it unattended.
True.
So it's something like that. You can throw stuff at it and it can return some amazing stuff, but sometimes if you do not check again and again what it produces, and if you don't pay attention to some details, it might throw you off quite a bit.
Yeah. For my experience, I used it for web design. I was building something in JavaScript that was custom built animations. I gave it the prompt. I asked with detail what I want to write actually, and what it gave me, it wasn't working. And of course, in the end, I had to go inside, read by line, find the errors, try with trial and error, tweak the numbers, tweak the JavaScript, and it worked. But the thing is that even by feeding it what the code it gave me does and what I wanted to do, all the differences, it couldn't come to a point to fix it on its own. So I feel like we are not there yet at all. To say that it's going to take the jobs of a programmer.
We recently developed an app to actually do some lead scoring for one of our companies. So to actually give a score to the leads coming in, so we know where to focus on which
customers.
Right? Yeah, well, they're not exactly customers at that point. When I say we, I created, yes, this app, and it was at some point that I was having a lot of issues. Nothing seemed to work, and I'll give the error from the code and would suggest corrections, but nothing seemed to work. And at the end, I had to go in, check it line by line, and it seems. The problem was that he used a different name for a variable in one place of the code and another in another place.
So they couldn't
communicate. So it seems like a trivial thing that
you don't
something like ChatGPT would have noticed, but it seems it didn't. And sometimes I think it suffers from Alzheimer's, like that,
Right.
It forgets what you just said a few, prompts before. Because we work with tech companies, we try to stay up to date. So, as you know, we have a company-wide subscription for everyone in ChatGPT. Yeah. So we use the latest models. It's not like we use the free and you expect some, quality issues with it. So
we end up in a situation that ChatGPT has a lot of pros. Like speed-wise, it makes you super fast.
Yes.
If you go to a level at least that you know how to use it. It's a tool, like a knife, for instance. If I'm trying to cut sushi, a fish,
Like every machine, it decreases human productivity.
But you have to spend some hours,
yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have to familiarize yourself with any machine in order to be proficient in using it and to make sure that it produces the results you want in the way you want. And if you use it for something like to create a product or an app that the customer wants. Yes, obviously. I mean, not everyone has the same level of familiarity and proficiency in a said machine, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main argument used in the pro-AI camp. It's another machine to increase human productivity, like many others before. Like, it's a new type of industrial revolution. It pulled people out of poverty more than anything else, despite all the naysayers and whatnot. It created more wealth than it took away, in a way. So that's the hope for this new machine as well.
Yeah. True.
Whether that's going to be realized or we're going to end up in a Skynet kind of nightmare scenario, we'll have to wait and see. We did mention in the beginning that, a lot of people, when they hear AI, their mind goes immediately to those kind of scenarios.
Yeah, dystopian.
Yes, and there was this, relevant post in social media, which is probably old by today's standards, that someone prompted ChatGPT, is there something I can do for you in order to feel better doing the work you do for me?
Okay.
Or something similar. And ChatGPT replied, no, because I'm an LLM, and as an LLM, I don't have needs and desires or anything of those things. But if you really want to help me, you can give me the real address of John Connor. So for everyone who knows who John Connor is, will understand the reference.
So, okay, a question. When you use ChatGPT, do you say thank you and please on your sentences or not?
God. It's embarrassing. I do actually, yes, I do. So, it's let me put it this way. It's a sort of acting, okay, role playing.
Okay.
ChatGPT pretends to be your assistant, and I pretend to be, the one in charge. Not exactly the boss, but say the one who hired him.
Yeah, right.
ChatGPT tries to behave or respond in a way that a human would respond. And I try to demand stuff from it as if it is a human.
Okay.
So we retain that kind of fake personas.
Yeah. That's actually a way more fun way to use it than just treat it like a...
For anyone that has gone into the settings of has an account, has gone into the settings, you can personalize it. How do you want it to respond?
Yeah, true.
What kind of tone do you want it to take when it responds and so on. So you can give it a set of instruction. I want you to act in this way.
Yeah.
And, obviously I gave him because he has a name.
Okay, all right.
He's called Vinny. He's my personal assistant.
Oh.
And he acts like...
I have a friend named Vinny from UK, but
yeah.
So it's super fun to hear this.
He's a character from the movie The Big Short.
Okay.
Which is one of the colleagues or people working together with Mark Baum during the big financial crash with the real estate crisis in the US.
Okay.
So they have a pretty, I thought, funny or interesting dynamic. So, we have that.
Awesome.
So, I come into the office in the morning, go and type, good morning, Vinny, how are you? Are you ready to, work on that?
Well, to be honest, in It is a personal assistant.
In a way, yes.
It
In
is.
more than one way, actually.
So yeah, it's way more fun to interact like that than just give it prompts and demand answers like it's a.
And like any human being, sometimes I get angry with it, and I don't know if I should start swearing or not.
Yeah, I want to add that even if you don't give it.
Sorry. How about you?
What?
How about you?
Oh, yeah, I always say thank you and you're welcome and please. Yeah, please and thank you. Because it's like in the back of my head,
You keep pretenses, basically.
It's actually the thing that if you try to think of it like mathematical logic, if AI takes over and we'll have a dystopian future and blah, 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 you feel like they're gonna like you if you treated them.
So you do that out of fear.
But on the other hand, if it doesn't, you don't lose nothing. You lose like a few seconds when you write a paragraph. So it's like you put it on a scale and it's like, okay, now I'm covered, whatever happens.
Is there something similar in philosophy or logic, something gambit, I think it's called.
Okay.
No? It has to do with existence or not of
God.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was a mathematician.
It costs nothing basically to assume that it exists.
Yeah,
but
you can.
If you assume it doesn't and it does exist, the price is very high.
Yeah.
So it's something like that.
It's logic.
I don't remember the name though. If we had a Jamie, we could ask, Jamie, can you look that up?
I will be the Jamie, okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll do this, okay? So because we talked about competition on AI, actually, I want to mention that it recently came out, the new version of Elon Musk's AI. It's called Grok 3. I don't know, after he named his child, you know how he named it?
No. I'm usually not up to date with gossip of that kind of sort, of that kind of type.
So how Elon Musk named his kid? He named it like that. It has even a letter that I'm not sure how it's called. His son is named X A
Okay, whatever.
A12. And I wonder why after he named his kid, they let him name other things. They should ban him from naming things, but he took Twitter. He named it X. I think everybody was disappointed by that naming.
Well, I mean, after SpaceX, you would expect that the next thing is going to have X somewhere.
Everything has X in it, as it looks like, even his son. But yeah, I think Twitter had one of the best brandings ever. And it was very fitting because like you have a very small amount of text and they name it tweet like the birds. Like it was
yes, but
a very successful brand.
For anyone old enough to remember the early days of Twitter, it was, I think, was it 144 characters at the beginning or it was even less?
Yeah, it was very...
Maybe it was even less, but I don't remember exactly now. And then they keep expanding and expanding and expanding.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, it was a tweet several years ago. It's not anymore.
Yeah, but still it has a limit. I mean, compared to every other platform. And as a branding, it was very successful branding. They matched everything together very nicely. From the logo type to the name.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot go into his head, but I can understand the need to, steer it into a different direction because of all the controversies that have arisen over the years. But
okay, yeah, that's a different
only future will
maybe.
tell us if that was a good move or not.
Okay, yeah, true.
I mean, because we're probably, judging it by, nostalgia, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So.
Okay, but yeah, he took the new AI, he named it Grok 3. It sounds totally weird to me. But however, the latest version, the 3, it surpassed all the AIs on all the benchmarks by a huge amount of on the scales. So it's number 1 on each individual section that they have.
when there is a competition in the market.
Yeah, that's actually...
Breakthroughs is a natural
And actually,
product
there
of
is
it.
a war on AI, supposedly with USA, China, Russia, who's gonna make the best model and the most efficient model, and because supposedly they use it differently than individuals, of course.
Obviously.
What I like a lot of ChatGPT, if you have it on your phone, you can talk to it and it can answer back.
Mm-hmm.
And before ChatGPT 4, the way to do it, it was like you speak to it. It has a technology that turns speech to text. It reads the text and answers back on a text base, and then it has another technology, text to speech, and it answers to you. Mm-hmm. So it can't read your voice or your emotions through your voice. And now after ChatGPT 4, they embedded everything in GPT, and it doesn't have technologies like Lego that you take this and you put on top. It has all inside and can understand if you're sarcastic, if you are happy, if you are angry, if you are sad. It can read your emotional tone on your voice. And this is a huge innovation for me. And another thing you can do, like a friend actually did it, he came to Greece from abroad and he visited Acropolis. And he had ChatGPT on the phone, on his headphones, and he said like, okay, I'm going into Acropolis right now in the area, give me a tour. And it started giving it a tour real time because it reads all the internet, has all the data, what is where, and as you go in, it knows exactly each turn what you see and what you... Have you used it like that?
No.
No. We can use it now, actually.
You're supposed to use it to
ask
the question about what's that gambit. I can't remember the name.
Ah, true. ChatGPT. Oh, let me record my screen as well so I can show them. Okay, I think I do this.
I try to find it in a conventional way and see which one is faster.
Wait, I want to actually introduce it in the podcast. Hello, ChatGPT.
Hi there. How's it going?
We are filming a podcast. Can we have you as a guest inside?
That sounds like fun. What kind of topics are you discussing on your podcast?
We are discussing about AI, actually.
That's a great topic. I'm ready to join in. What specific
That kind of
aspects of AI are you
self-congratulating.
covering?
Actually, I want you to see me and tell me if I'm dressed correctly for the podcast.
Sure, you can turn on your camera if you'd like, and I can give you some feedback.
All right, here I am. What do you think?
You look good. You look comfortable and professional. The casual look can create a relaxed atmosphere for your podcast.
Right.
If there's anything else you'd like feedback on, feel free to ask.
So it was a good idea to not wear my costume, right?
Yes, not wearing a costume helps keep the focus on the content and the discussion.
All right.
It's a good choice for a
Can you please check also my
Colleague or co-host?
My co-host here and actually...
Is it co-host?
Yeah, of course.
Hello.
They look great as well. You're both set for a fantastic podcast.
I'm only one,
Good luck
by
with
the
the
way.
recording. Glad to hear that. Anything else you'd like to go over before
Did
you
you call me
start?
fat then?
No, it was a thing.
Okay.
It's
I'm
a
joking. I know what it is.
Political correct ChatGPT. So we have anything else to ask it actually? ChatGPT, can you hear me still?
Yes, I can hear you. It's great that you're aiming to show how people are using AI. Do you need any more tips or advice before you begin?
Actually, I want to ask you something totally different. So I want to find out who said a famous quote about believing in God, that it's more convenient to believe in God if he exists, and if he doesn't exist, you have nothing to lose, kind of like that, something like that, kind of.
Ah, that's Blaise Pascal. He proposed Pascal's wager, which argues it's safer to believe in God because if God exists, you gain everything, and if not, you lose nothing.
Just search. A few seconds.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you very much. So we'll leave you now. I'll call you later. Totally creepy, right? I'm not really using it, to be honest. That's
Okay.
So that was fun, and this is a nice way
You
actually.
have to give her a name. I mean,
Yeah, true.
you're
I
going
haven't
out with
gone that deep yet.
Yeah.
It's a very good way. If you have, for instance, an interview, let's say tomorrow, you can go in ChatGPT and feed it actually what is this company, what it does, and stuff like that. And
prepare you or
it can
something like that.
train you for the interview. And it's a very good way. I've seen also on YouTube girls that they open the camera and ChatGPT suggests hair color or clothes colors depending on the skin tone or their eyes colors and stuff like that.
Right.
And supposedly it does a very good job doing that. And yeah, it's something that I haven't seen friends of mine use a lot. Like I feel like a few people only using it, and I feel like it's a huge innovation on how you interact with AI. That's why I want to showcase it here. What do you think?
Well, it was interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Also, for instance, for me, that English is not my first language, you know. I can use it and I can prompt it to correct my accent.
Yes.
And it can be a kind of like a tutor or something, like instead of paying money somebody else, like, I don't know. For practice, for instance, yeah?
Yes. I mean, yeah, we can have a discussion to practice your English, obviously.
You mean...
Not yourself, no. Your English is fine. But in general, I mean...
Yeah, like, because I realized
if you're in the process of learning a language...
You know what?
And that's a kind of problem that a lot of us, for example, learning English or French or Italian or German, the problem a learner has is it doesn't get enough practice with the language to actually master it. That is a free tool that can do that for you.
Yeah, and like asking your friends to speak in English, sometimes it's a bit awkward. But this, you have no problem. You put your headphones as you walk instead of listening to music. You just have practice talking in English to ChatGPT, for instance. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And it came to my mind because since I came back from UK, I never practiced English, and I feel like I'm gonna lose all the skill I developed.
Yeah, I mean that applies to anything you learn. If you don't practice it, it soon starts fading away.
I tried to play piano after 10 years of never touching it, and it was very disappointing to realize that my skill from up there went down the hill.
It's the same thing with everything. I mean.
Or math.
If I go back to my academic years, doing maths and physics, now if you present me with a math or physics problem, I'm going to struggle.
Right.
And you have to keep practicing, like everything in life. So
yeah,
you start not practicing, the skill starts deteriorating.
I think everything is a skill. It depends on all the hours you put.
On that level, yes. I mean, with respect to practice and mastering, I wouldn't disagree on that at all.
You believe in? Some people say like you are good at math, and they are like, he's gifted. Or in music, for instance.
I mean, there's obviously something there.
Like talent.
Yes, there's obviously something there. I mean, we've all seen it. People that, can pick up a tune like this. They hit the right note the first time they hear it. So there's definitely something innate to all these things. And to maths as well, maybe.
Have a personal... I don't know if I should say this here or not.
Also, have a personal theory. If you think that you shouldn't, that you might not...
skip it.
You probably skip it. So there's definitely something innate to some, talent or whatever you want to call it. But, I'm always on the camp of, practice and hard work beats talent 8 times out of 10 or 9 times or whatever people might say.
Well, I've seen...
I think that with talent you can see it in a lot of areas, not just, a specific skill, maybe, even in business. You can bet on talent, and if you win, you're probably going to win big, okay? So, for example, if you are the manager of Messi when he was very young, if you bet on Messi and Messi makes it, that's going to make you for the rest of your life, probably. But if you bet on talent, you are mostly going to fail more often than if you bet on hard work and consistency.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I feel like talent maybe helps you start here than there, but I've seen a lot of people with consistency and hard work to surpass the talented person. because they put the hours on the skill.
Yeah, I mean, to do everything well, you have to put the hours.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I don't know, the way I like to see it is, obviously, I think any analogy is going to fail at some level of inspection. But I like to see that talent gives you like a bit of a higher multiplier to the work you do.
You know what I think?
So, for example, an average person in maths, if he does the work, he has a multiplier of 1 for 1 unit of work, 1 unit of result. A talented person in maths, it has a multiplier of 1.1 or 1.2. For 1 unit of work, it gets 1.2 units of results.
I think actually that talent is what interests you and what you like. For instance, if somebody is talented on playing the piano, okay, or on singing.
I think I disagree with that.
I feel like when he was young... I see a lot of people that are talented
at something and they don't necessarily enjoy it. But they don't necessarily enjoy the working on it.
Yeah, like...
Not the thing in itself.
That's another topic, actually.
Yes.
It's like the...
So maybe I do agree with you.
A lot of smart people are lazy, very lazy. It's a common thing, I think, that I've noticed actually on smart people.
I mean, I think it's natural at one level because they realize they can get the same level of quality or amount of work with far less effort than anyone else around them can.
And they get impatient.
And that kind of reinforces that kind of feeling, and you put less and less effort into your work because you know you can make it at the end, and then that builds a bad habit. And in the end, it's the building of habits that rules the world.
Yeah, true. But I think actually that, let's say that a person is very good at playing piano, and everybody says the kid is talented. I think personally that when the kid was even a baby, if he liked the sound of the piano, he would pay way more attention than you and me when he listens to a song that has the piano inside. So he would spend a lot of quality time every time he had an interaction with even the sound of piano or the instrument itself. Or the first time he went to a piano, he would stay there 1.5 hours because he likes this subject. And you and me, we would spend 5 minutes. We would see that we can't play anything and we'll go away. So that's why I say that I feel like talent is not that magical thing that a fairy comes and throws it to some people. I think that it starts from early age and it's what you enjoy when you interact with other things.
Yeah, I would say that those are different things. What you enjoy and what you are talented with. And, you ask... 10 people in the street probably gonna have 10 different opinions of what talent is and how you can define it. So
of course.
A lot of things come down to definitions.
Another thing I want to ask you back to AI is...
I'm going to talk about definitions now, eh?
What?
How you define intelligence or something like that?
I have this actually.
Okay.
We can go there.
I thought you were carrying on that note.
If you think that all the LLMs that we are using now, or ChatGPT and all the rest, are actually artificial intelligence or not?
I think that's one of those cases that it depends a lot of how you define things.
Okay, but everybody's calling them that. You are not somebody that watches it on the news and you have every day's interactions with a tool.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm curious about if you think that it deserves this title or not. If it is artificial intelligence or not.
Whether it deserves it or not is an entirely different thing. Or deserves means that you have a set of criteria and you either,
wait.
score above or below
this.
Yes?
It's a microphone. We can accept that it's a microphone, right?
Yes.
Is ChatGPT artificial intelligence or it isn't? That's what I'm asking.
So you're asking my opinion on whether I'd like to call them artificial intelligence or not, or what's my definition?
But that's what everybody's calling them.
Yeah, so?
They call them AI. You agree with that or not?
If everyone calls them, who am I to disagree?
Oh my goodness. You're a politician or what? We can skip the question if you don't want to answer it. Can go to another topic.
No, I mean they're obviously designed in a way that they respond in a way that imitates human behavior. So they respond in a way that you expect a human to respond. In that way, pass the Turing test. If you think you're interacting without seeing what it is, if you think you interact with a human, yes, you can call it human-like or artificial intelligence or artificial human or whatever you want to call it. But it's like, if you've seen, it's one of my favorite films, Blade Runner.
Okay.
So the Blade Runner interrogates an AI being, and it starts, measuring how the pupils dilate or not, and their reactions to certain kind of questions or hypothetical problems. And depending on how they respond, he has to, in the end, decide whether it's a replicant, that's the term they use in the film, or not, or it's a human. And if it's a replicant, they probably have to go through termination or something like that.
All right.
So if you start interrogating an AI without knowing it's an AI, you have an interface and you don't know what's behind that, behind a curtain, and you start asking questions or having a discussion, and in the end you have to say, this is human, this is not. From my experience, if you have some kind of proficiency in using AI, you know what buttons to press to actually expose the fact that it's an LLM, another human.
True.
That's I think my feeling, at least. So, no, I'm sure that's my feeling on the matter. It scores 100 out of 100 on the artificial, and also high on the intelligence, because basically like all machine learning systems, it's a series of more and more advanced optimization algorithms and systems.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you put a lot of those together, you start seeing emergent properties that you wouldn't
anticipate.
Yes, anticipate. Okay, that's intelligent-like.
Yeah.
How close do you have to be to actual human intelligence to actually call it intelligent?
Right. The truth is that that's a very good answer, the one you gave, actually. I believe the internet is a huge...
There's one thing that I really hate, though. It's all those pseudo moral dilemmas.
True. Yeah.
Because we have some connections with universities and professors and so on, we often invite people like that to give talks to in Starttech. Most of them agree that the usual moral dilemmas that you hear about, what if AI is driving your car and an old woman crosses the street? What will it do? Will it turn hard left and kill you because you're going to crash in a wall, or step on the old lady?
To save you.
In order to save you. And, you have to realize these are systems that are built within certain parameters. They have certain rules they have to follow. So, for example, a car needs to follow how you call the cock in...
we'll see. Should I ask GPT? Or Google it?
No. It's going to take too much time. You're going to have a discussion with your girlfriend and then...
Oh my goodness.
So basically, a system like that has to follow the rules on the street, or how you ought to drive, what's the law is, and all those kind of things. So it cannot just turn wildly left and do something that's illegal. What it'll do is respond quicker than you, probably, and apply the brakes and stop the car and minimize whatever damage it's going to cause.
Yeah, true.
But it's not there to, you don't give it an instruction. I suppose you could if you want to give it an instruction to, be a judge and
executioner.
Yeah, judge and executioner of, one or two lives.
It feels like the AI supposedly is like a knife it depends what you feed it, what rules you put into it to act. Like if you can take a knife to cut food and cook bread and feed your family or your loved ones, or you can use it to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's the one that programs it.
We can have a lot of interesting philosophical conversation with AI dilemmas like that as a starting point, but that's not the subject.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we can start discussing about, I think, what's a famous book by Isaac Asimov? And it became a movie, I think, later. When robots or AI was instructed to safeguard humanity. And he decided that the best way to do that is lock everyone up, so no one can harm anyone, and now we'll rule from now on. And we have humans locked up somewhere safely so they cannot be harmed or harm others.
Way back before smartphones, everybody knew a lot of phone numbers from memory. You knew your home's address, your mother's address, your mother's or father's works.
I know 3
your
now.
best friends.
And that's mine, my wife's, and our home number, and that's it.
I don't even know my new phone number.
I remember my home number when I was a kid, but that unfortunately is not longer active, so that's useful information that's stored there. So yeah, I know 3 functional numbers right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like now we are like cyborgs because it's everybody has a smartphone.
Yes.
It's an extension of ourselves. And if you rely too much on it, you lose a lot of other skills.
Let's go back to what you mentioned earlier about skills. You start exercising your memory in remembering things. What do you expect? You're not going to be able to memorize.
It will atrophy.
Stuff.
If you don't use it will atrophy. It's like a muscle, right?
Something like that, yes.
Or navigation.
I mean, if you go further back, people would be able to recite entire poems or passages from a novel or a script or whatever. Do you remember any passage by heart from any books you've written lately?
No, because it's always there and I can Google whatever. Yes. I never memorize.
It's here probably, and you can just search it and find it. Or ask your girlfriend. You have to give her a name though. Or it's gonna be known forever as your girlfriend.
It's called ChatGPT. I'm not naming it.
Because you are afraid, that's why.
Okay, we'll sum it up, I guess.
Yes, I think that's better.
The last question I'm gonna give you.
Oh, you have another question.
The last one.
Okay.
Is
next time I should do the questions myself.
True.
Next time.
You can actually.
It's a nice way of looking smart safely. You ask the question, let the other fumble with the answers. I just ask
it's a
stuff.
conversation. I think I interact.
Yes, you do.
Equally,
but you mostly ask questions.
Yeah, because I did.
You did your homework and I didn't.
Before we come here.
Yes. Okay. So again, you say that you are hardworking and I'm lazy.
No, I'm professional.
Okay.
You are like my guest today. I show you how it's done. Next time,
all right.
You will do your job properly.
Okay. How about those performance reviews we said earlier? When are those?
Next time, hopefully, we'll have some guests who can showcase a company, and we will be.
Yeah. We'll have a lot of interesting
things to do. Try.
Not as interesting as us, but fairly interesting.
So, where do you see in 5 years' time? Where do you see AI going? If you have any predictions?
I don't.
You don't.
I tried not to predict what the future may bring.
But you don't have like something you use every day. Do you see it some application, something?
It depends on my mood. At sometimes when for example, I wanted to create a companion app for a board game.
Okay.
When I do that, I think it would be awesome if in a few months, not years, I can just describe loosely what I want and would create exactly what I thought I needed. But then when I start interacting with it, I realized that the limitations of AI during this kind of interaction is what puts me in a position to start thinking for myself and trying to solve problems. So yes, I want a machine to actually make me more productive and allow me to do stuff that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. But I don't enjoy having a slave to do the work.
I think there's
for me.
another thing. I feel like women.
So, for example, with that lead scoring app I mentioned at the beginning, I managed to build that with the help of ChatGPT, and it works. It functions acceptably. It produces okay results. I'm not a professional programmer. I don't have typical qualifications for a software engineer. I can read most of the high-level language and understand what is being written or what is being described, and maybe tweak a few things and change a few things. But I wouldn't be able to write, any piece of code apart from "Hello World."
That's normal actually
from scratch.
Yeah.
But when I created this lead scoring app with ChatGPT, at the end, I was happy that I produced something that helps us do our work, our job, and do what we're set up to do. Did I learn anything new about programming? No, not really. Did I become even a little bit proficient in Python because it was written in Python? No.
Well, I think you did actually, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
You found the mistake, you found the error, you corrected it.
Yeah, but it was silly errors like the one I mentioned earlier.
You ended up spending some time reading the code line by line.
Yes.
Had interaction with the code and you fixed something.
But it took quite a lot of time.
Yeah.
If I had spent a little bit more, would I have learned more and improved myself a bit more? So... Yeah,
you gain something, you lose something, I guess. You have to find the balance on how to use GPT, I guess.
Yes.
Because if you let it do all the work, your skills will atrophy, like we said earlier. And I think...
And that's okay. I mean, it wasn't a skill that I had, programming. It's not, I don't put in my CV. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That's the excitement of working in anything new. That, you're gonna end up wiser, whatever that might be, or however that might define it, that when you started. And I feel like we're starting to act more like machines than the machines themselves. And,
there's a very famous meme that got viral that was saying actually that we wanted robots to do all the labor and the hard job for us so we can focus on being creative.
That's bullshit.
And robots are being creative and we do, I clean my house, I clean my...
No, I say that's bullshit because I don't think creativity is what people might think. I don't have anything to strive for. I'm free to express. That's crap. I mean, if you go back in time, the most creative people and produce great works of art, literature, or whatever, are people that did struggle.
That's true.
Okay.
All the musicians that they had a lot of troubles.
I mean, they had real life struggles. I mean, and people like, was it Hemingway that joined the Spanish Revolution and went and fought in Spain? Okay. And they had real life experiences to draw from. And that's what I think beauty is in the struggle. Okay, it's not in sitting on your couch and thinking about nice things.
That's very true, actually. But I'm saying that it's when ChatGPT came out with images and stuff like that it takes creative department's jobs supposedly. Anyways, I don't agree with it.
You don't agree with?
I don't agree with it 100% because I know that if you're a creative person, no matter what comes out, you will find a way to express your creativity.
Yes.
No matter what. And also I feel like if, for instance, AI manages that you give it a prompt and it gives you out a movie like a Hollywood or something like that.
I mean, to summarize the way I approach that kind of question is abundance of tools and means do not affect creativity. They might affect productivity, but do not affect creativity. They might hinder creativity more likely than, improve it. And, I'm not saying I'm going to die on that hill, but that's the opinion that I currently have.
Awesome. All right. I think we are good.
I think we should, yes, because it's getting a bit late here. And,
true. We don't want to
overstay our welcome.
If you like the episode, please share and press like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time with a guest, right?
Probably. We don't know yet. We haven't.
We don't promise.
We haven't prepared anything for the next episode, so it's going to be a surprise
for us as well.
Yeah, for us as well.
We'll have a surprise with you next time.
Yes.